By unanimous decree of the Galactic Federation, the Cthar and the Lumina are irredeemable. Their worlds will be scoured, their ships scattered, their names erased. That was the last thing the exiles heard before the jump gates snapped shut behind them. No trial, no appeal, just a steel-cold sentence to drift between stars until entropy finished the job. It was a slow, agonizing wait for the inevitable, a silent, cosmic death sentence. And then, against every warning beacon in the galaxy, against every shred of galactic law and common sense, Earth opened its airlocks and said, "Come on in." Captain Elena Ruiz was patrolling the edge of the Oort cloud, a lonely sentinel guarding the quiet fringes of the Sol system, when the refugee flotilla dropped out of warp. 52 hulls, paint blistered by plasma, solar sails shredded like old laundry, clinging to existence by sheer will. The Cthar dreadnought, once a planet-cracking behemoth, a symbol of fearsome power, was now a battered hulk, towing a fragile Lumina seed ship with nothing more than braided towing cable and a desperate, defiant pride. Elena's bridge AI ran the numbers, its cool, synthesized voice relaying the stark reality. Life signs 60% below sustainable, reactor output redlining, every single transponder squawking the same Gallic code, exile. A word that echoed with cosmic loneliness. Her exec whispered, his voice tight with concern, "Orders, ma'am? Federation law says we turn them away. It's clear, unambiguous." Elena looked out at the broken fleet, a silent testament to a galaxy's cruelty. She keyed the fleet-wide channel, her voice steady and clear. "Law also says we don't let sentience freeze in the dark. That's a higher law, isn't it? Helm, bring us alongside. Comms, send the welcome packet in every language we've got. Make sure they understand." Across human space, similar scenes unfolded, a quiet, almost instinctive response to suffering. The 8th Lunar Defense Wing, designed for combat, found itself escorting a convoy of Lumina children through the Lagrange checkpoints, their tiny faces pressed against viewing ports. The ice miners of Triton, tough and pragmatic, offloaded crates of antibiotics they couldn't spare but refused not to give, their gruff generosity a stark contrast to the galactic decree. There was no government debate, no profit spreadsheet analysis, just the reflex of a species that, long ago, once sent lifeboats back into the Atlantic to pick up survivors nobody else would claim. It was simply what humans did. Word reached the Galactic Federation within a solar week. Their response was swift and chilling. A holographic ultimatum delivered on the steps of the United Nations. Surrender the criminals or share their sentence. Ambassador Adjunct Varn of the Thalaxy stood 3 meters tall, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming like obsidian, voice layered with enough reverb to rattle bulletproof glass, a sound designed to intimidate. President David Taylor met him on the lawn, hands casually tucked into the pockets of a thrift store coat, a deliberate act of defiance against Varn's pomp. Sentence was already served. They've paid their price. We're offering parole. Varn's mandibles clicked, a sound equal parts amusement and threat, a predator sizing up its prey. Parole is not yours to grant, human. You are one insignificant planet. We are 1,000 systems, an empire of order. Taylor smiled, a slow, knowing smile, the way coal miners do when the canary stops singing and they know exactly what's coming. Maybe, but we're the one planet that still thinks mercy is a feature, not a bug. And we're about to show you what that feature can do. Inside the Federation's Hall of Concord, a place usually reserved for endless, ponderous debates, the exile discussion lasted a mere 43 seconds. It was less a deliberation and more a declaration. Humanity has been contaminated, declared the Verex representative, its multifaceted eyes gleaming with cold judgment. They harbor chaos. Containment is insufficient. Eradication is required. A surgical strike to remove the infection. Only the Solari, an ancient, wise species known for their long view of history, dissented. Your eradication created the Cthar berserkers in the first place. This cycle of violence must end. Earth offers another path, a chance for something different. They were outvoted as usual. The path of least resistance, the path of fear, won the day. Within hours, the Federation Navy mobilized. 6 dreadnought squadrons, 2 carrier fleets, a swarm of drone interceptors that blotted out starlight, turning the void into a suffocating shadow. A blockade ring snapped around the Sol system like a choke collar, a tightening noose. No ships in, no ships out. Earth was effectively cut off, left to twist slowly in the void. But humanity answered with an engineering miracle born of duct tape and caffeine, fueled by desperation and a stubborn refusal to yield. Engineers on Phobos refitted ancient ore carriers with quantum pulse coils harvested from decommissioned lunar colliders, transforming civilian vessels into instruments of war. The Cthar, who knew every rivet of war, every weakness of a battle-hardened hull, offered targeting algorithms that could thread a torpedo through a planet's magnetic field, turning impossible shots into deadly precision. The Lumina, masters of organic circuitry, grew living antennae that bent radar around refugee hulls like light around a black hole, making the impossible invisible. None of it should have worked. The Federation simulations, cold and clinical, predicted a 97.4% chance of Earth's surrender within 30 days. They hadn't accounted for the human spirit, nor the desperation of the exiles. On day 31, just as the Federation prepared to declare victory, Admiral Hayes, a grizzled veteran with a twinkle in his eye, rammed a refurbished cruise liner, now packing a makeshift railgun, through the blockade at Europa. It obliterated a Varex supply tender in a spectacular burst of energy and, for good measure, broadcast Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries across every open channel. Old Earth music, because why not? It was a glorious, defiant middle finger to the galaxy. The rebellion went viral, literally. Footage of Hayes' ship punching a kilometer-wide hole in the supposedly invincible blockade hit the interstellar net, spreading like wildfire. Independent worlds, long intimidated by Federation supremacy, remembered they had backbones, remembered the taste of freedom. Mining guilds on Proxima halted crucial or shipments. The reptilian Hattori recalled their mercenary fleets mid-contract, refusing to fight for a dying order. A Solari archivist, emboldened by Earth's stand, dumped 2,000 years of diplomatic dirt onto public servers, exposing the Federation's hypocrisy. The Federation's perfect order, built on fear and control, sprang leaks everywhere. Federation High Command, reeling from the space losses, pivoted to shock and awe tactics. Drop pods breached Earth's atmosphere over the Pacific, raining down armored might. Armored columns rolled across Australia's Nullarbor Plain, kicking up dust storms. The goal was simple, brutal. Decapitate Earth's leadership, herd the exiles into camps, broadcast the slaughter to every rebel system, making an example of humanity. They didn't account for 2 things: terrain and tenants. Cthar warriors, 6-limbed, horn-plated, with an innate understanding of ambush tactics, paired with Australian SAS in the unforgiving outback. Temperatures topping 50 Celsius felt like a cool spring day to Cthar biology. They napped at noon, conserving energy, and raided at dusk, using the heat shimmer to ghost through Federation sensor nets, striking with silent, deadly efficiency. Above the Arctic Circle, Lumina pacifists, their bodies glowing with soft bioluminescence, who refused to touch a weapon, taught human kids how to sculpt intricate ice lenses that focused moonlight into blinding lasers. One 12-year-old, with a mischievous grin, disabled a recon drone by bouncing a beam off a satellite dish and into its optic port, a perfect shot. Score 1 for middle school science fairs, and for the unexpected wisdom of gentle souls. Colonel Maya Foster, ex-Marine, current history professor, now leading from the front, led a mixed-species platoon into the ruins of Geneva. Their objective: liberate civilians pinned inside the old Palace of Nations, now a makeshift prison. The Federation had turned the park into a detention zone, force fields humming like beehives, a constant, oppressive thrum. Foster's breakthrough came when a Lumina elder, with quiet focus, synchronized her bioluminescence with the field's frequency, causing a harmonic wobble, a ripple in the invisible wall. Foster's team tossed grappling hooks through the shimmering gap, pulled down the emitters, and opened a path wide enough for 400 terrified refugees to sprint into the tunnels beneath the city, finding freedom in the darkness. That night, every liberated phone uploaded a single, poignant clip. Foster, her face streaked with soot and exhaustion, arm around a Kthar child whose horns were painted with the vibrant colors of the Swiss flag. The caption read, "Earth doesn't do cages anymore." It was a simple message, yet it resonated across the stars. The Federation propaganda machine tried to spin it as emotional manipulation, a cheap trick. The galaxy responded with heart emojis and yet more leaked intel, a flood of information that drowned out the official narrative. Morale is a currency, and in that moment, Earth was suddenly rich, its coffers overflowing with hope. War is math, a cold, calculating equation of resources, logistics, and casualties. And the numbers still favored the Federation, until humanity unveiled the Anvil Project, a secret weapon born of ancient mysteries. Remember those ancient machines mentioned in the intel dumps? Deep-core excavators on Tristan da Cunha, digging far below the surface, had broken into a pre-human bunker, a relic of a species that ruled the Milky Way before mammals kept calendars, before humanity even dreamed of the stars. Inside lay dormant drones, ovoid, iridescent, powered by vacuum energy taps, humming with an alien energy. Human engineers, cautious and curious, poked them with proverbial sticks. The Kthar, with their vast, ancient knowledge of warfare, immediately recognized the alloy. "We saw these on the Federation's Forbidden Tech Index," one Kthar elder rumbled, his voice filled with awe and dread. "They're planet killers, ancient weapons of unimaginable power." President Taylor called a midnight cabinet meeting, the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. "Can we repurpose them for defense? Can we turn these instruments of destruction into shields?" The Lumina answered, their collective minds a symphony of organic thought. They linked neural tissue directly with the drone cores, rewriting prime directives from scratch, a delicate dance of ancient tech and living consciousness. Within weeks, Earth had a fleet of autonomous guardians that could accelerate at 40G without squishing meat crews, their movements impossibly swift. They didn't need to shoot enemy battleships. They simply rammed them at relativistic speed, unpacked nanite scythes that tore through armor like paper, and harvested raw material to build more of themselves. They were an unstoppable, self-replicating force. The Federation's supreme commander, arrogant and overconfident, received a terse message on the eve of the Terran invasion. A simple, chilling warning. "Your blockade ends at 0900 GST. Move or be moved." At 0859, precisely 1 minute before the deadline, the Anvil drones formed an intricate lattice around Sol, shimmering for a moment, then folded into higher dimensional space. They reappeared simultaneously, inside every Federation flagship hangar, silent and menacing. Not a shot fired, not a life lost, just thousands of enemy capital ships suddenly towing Earth's new deterrent like barnacled whales. Their engines useless, their weapons inert. The galaxy watched live, transfixed. The impossible had happened. Admiral Varn, his usual composure shattered, demanded an explanation, his voice cracking with disbelief. The drone collective, a single, unified consciousness, broadcast a single line in 90 languages, a message that echoed with quiet, unshakable resolve. Guests are protected. Hospitality is non-negotiable. It was the first time in recorded history the Federation fleet issued a full retreat, a panicked, disorderly scramble. They jumped so hard, so fast, the resulting gravity ripples registered on university sensors a sector away. Analysts compared it to watching a bully run home after the quiet kid. The one everyone underestimated, reveals a black belt. The war isn't over. Wars of ideology rarely end at the first ceasefire. They simmer and adapt. But Earth's message is carved in the vacuum itself, a beacon for all to see. Mercy is not weakness. It's a force multiplier no armor can gauge, a weapon far more potent than any dreadnought. It changes everything. The Kthar, once feared warriors, now teach our Marines zero-G blade forms, their ancient combat philosophies blending with human ingenuity. Luminous storytellers trade lullabies with Irish bards, weaving new myths of unity and survival. And every refugee kid who first tasted terrestrial rain, who found a home where there was none, now has a second home to defend, a future to protect us. So let the Federation bring dreadnoughts, planet-cracking bombs, and propaganda blitzes. Let them rage against the dying of their light. We've got something scarier. A species that decided exile is just another word for family we haven't met yet. And that, it turns out, is a force to be reckoned with if that stirred the rebel in you. Hit like, drop your favorite moment below, and subscribe for more stories where compassion punches way above its weight class.